Hey guys, this is PhoenixSD, and I'm doing another cast. Today is going to be my second submission to the IPL caster search. This is going to be for the round of 16. I got selected to be in the top 16 of the competition, so this is going to break it down to the top 8 after this if I get selected for that, so here's hoping. But right now, I've got the game they've provided for us. We got to pick one of 3, and the game I've chosen is the TVZ EG Thorzane versus Slivko. So now we've got Thorzane spawning down here on the bottom left as the red Terran, excuse me, and we have Slivko on the top right as the teal Zerg. So looks like we're going to have a good game. Cloud Kingdom TVZ is always a good time. Excuse me, I'm going to clear my throat one more time. Alright, we are all set there. And it looks like Thorzane is going to go with no wall at first. He's actually going to put the supply depot in the back of his base rather than the front door. Looks like so far out of Slivko, we don't see anything quite yet, so no early pool, no cheese going on there. I'm curious to see if he's going to go with that hatch first, that we see a lot of Zergs going for. It's a new metagame as far as being a little bit more greedy. Looks like this could either be the scout probe. Looks like it's going to be just a scout based off the amount of minerals he's got right now. Slivko. Thorzane is actually going to cheese him. He's actually brought an SCV up here, brought the second SCV up, so he's building what looks to be most likely 2 bunkers. Or excuse me, 2 barracks rather. But the Overlord is going to spot it. Did he see it? He sees it. Alright, so we do have Slivko aware of what's going on. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a second barracks. Just immediately turns that drone around. There's nothing that he's going to see at Thorzane's base that is going to be of any importance, rather, since he's already scouted out this cheese over here. Looks like he's got 2 drones, though. He's got his hatchery down as well, and Thorzane just decides to cancel it out, knowing that he can't beat these 2 drones with his 2 SCVs, especially when one is already hurt. Looks like he's just going to pull back now and try to rebuild at his main. He's actually going to go straight for that command center. He's saving up to get to 400. And here we go. Looks like the hatchery for Slivko is actually already a quarter of the way done, so even though Slivko did have to pull a couple drones to defend that, he's actually still very far ahead. He actually didn't lose any mining time, just with the 1 drone rather, since he already had that 1 drone out there to scout. And he knows the exact timing of the base. If he can move this Overlord just a little bit, he'd see that there was a base going down. So he doesn't quite know it yet, but as far as the positioning goes of that, he's definitely in line to scout that out as soon as he feels comfortable doing so. A lot of Zerg players will leave this here for nearly the entire game, unless a medevac or Viking flies over, anything like that, even if they lift up a barracks, because it's generally not an area where you put too much attention into, but you can get a lot of scouting information from it. You can see when timings come out, they have to go through these rocks, they have to at least come out of this choke point, unless they're air unit, obviously. But it looks like so far we do have the spawning pool down, 2 queens getting pumped out, and we do have the command center almost finished up here for Thorzane. Looks like he's going to go with a full barracks wall off, which is actually pretty interesting, considering that you can't actually just maneuver quickly through it. Unlike supply depots where you just lower them all at once and you're not losing anything by doing that. To get through this wall, you're going to have to lift up your whole barracks. You're stopping production with that barracks, but then you also have to take the time to actually lower the barracks back down to make sure it's placed properly. With a supply depot, you can just kind of like box click and hit R and it's popped back up. With the barracks, you got to make sure you click that one specifically, hit L, and then click back down, line it up with the tech lab or the reactor, what have you. You don't want to accidentally lift off 2 more barracks instead of landing the one that's already in the air. Still no gas out of Thorzane, actually. He's just building up his supply depots back here. I'm a little curious. He's actually, it looks like he's probably just taking the tower at this point. Yeah, Slivko is going to pull his lings back. I don't know why he pulled the ling back that was at this Salnaga. He could actually still hold that one, get a little bit more scouting information. Well, he's not going to switch him either. I thought he might just switch the ling that was at the far eye for the close eye. But does not look like that's happening. He's also staying on 2 base for quite a while. Looks like he's been mining his gas for a little bit, so he should start speed here pretty quick. There it goes. Creeping out a bit, but nothing too crazy. It looks like Thorzane is actually going for a stronger marine timing, just a 3 barracks, nothing too crazy, but he is going to put on a little bit of pressure. It's actually, yeah, exactly. He's going to do a small amount of pressure just to make sure that Slivko knows, hey, you know what, I'm still here, I'm not as far behind as you think I am, and you know what, I'm actually going to expand to my 3rd behind this, as Slivko takes his 3rd base as well. So he's only got 5 Marines over here, 6, 7, he's actually got 8, 9, 10 total coming out. He does not get the drone, which is okay. The cancel on the hatchery is what he was really going for. He did drop down 2 gas just now. He's double muling at his natural just to kind of get that going. Creep spread for Slivko is still getting underway. He does have an active tumor back here, which could get pushed forward, but at this point he's not focusing on creep spread. He's more so focusing on unit composition. No Baneling Nest as of yet that I can see. Yeah, it looks like there's no Baneling Nest. Double Evo Chamber at the front door. That's good against the Hellion harass that might be coming in his eyes, because we can see that he actually does not know much of what's going on. He just sees the barracks. But against Marines, it's not as efficient because they are just high DPS and high actually attack rate. So doing so, this works against like melee units, things like that, like Zealot Wall. Zealots against this would be well done. Hellions because they don't do too much damage to structure. But against Marines, they can kind of DPS that down pretty quick. So I don't know if it was necessarily to defend those Marines, but it was more so to give himself a little bit of a buffer zone so the Marines had to choke point in rather than just sprint in and run back and forth. He is going to try to deny this third base that has not actually picked up or landed over here yet, so he's just checking the timing of it. Getting his own third is Slivko. He's getting his macro hatch, getting up to lair tech as of right now, getting +1 melee and ground armor, which is actually going to help him very well with this Ling composition he has right now. He doesn't have too many units on the field. Let's see how many he has here. Yeah, 20 Zerglings versus 18 Marines. The Marines would win in this fight considering they... let's see, actually, do they have combat shields? They do not have combat shields. He's going for Stim first, and there's the combat shield upgrade now. I was wondering why he hadn't started that yet. That's actually... it's arguable which one's more important, early game combat shields or Stim. I'd go forward and say that probably combat shields because you don't have the medevacs to really benefit from that Stim. If you get the Stim baited out, you have no way to heal, so you basically just lost a bunch of life for nothing. But the barracks is still up in the air, and the Lings stream in, picking off a couple Marines here, and he is actually going to go straight for the SCV line, and the Marines are already on their way back. You saw the timing with that Overlord I mentioned earlier. He just runs right into the main base, picking off SCVs left and right. He's still got creep down here at the third base, so there's no way that's going to land. Let's see, the Lings are still in base. All these Marines are still coming in, trying to figure out the best way to take out all these Lings. But there are a lot of +1 Zerglings in here. What? Let's see, did he actually finish that upgrade yet? Oh, it's not quite done, so those Lings were not +1. But there are still a ton more in here. Looks like they just managed to hide down at the natural. Let's see. Okay, so he has recovered. He does have a ton of SCVs up here. He did have to stop mining at his main and his natural. Did Thorzane. Looks like, okay, so he has recovered. Those few Lings hitting the barracks didn't do pretty much any damage. I mean, they put it in yellow, but at this point, I mean, you can just heal that up. You don't even really need to. But he does need to land that barracks. This is what I was talking about. With the supply depots, you can just kind of throw it up, like throw your box click it, and hit R, and you're set. It'll pop right up. You don't need to worry about it. The extra health on the barracks do make them a little bit more efficient versus Zerglings. But just as far as getting your own army out of that situation, getting your own army out onto the field and into a better situation, excuse me, is just not the best thing. But we do have another Attacko down here. Looks like the Overlord that was in here is dead actually at this point, but the creep spread is not, so Thorzane can still not land that. We do have a huge engagement up top. Looks like all these Banelings and Marines are just gonna, or Banelings and Lings are gonna tear through these Marines and tanks. And Thorzane is still gonna kite, killing as many Zerglings as he can. They are 1-1, and so are the Marines. Do they have the combat shields upgrade yet? It looks like they do. They have. I know they have Stim. They also have the combat shield, so he is set with his Marine upgrades. We do have pathogen glands already researched, so we do have infestors on the field, I believe. Let's see if we can find them. No infestors on the field as of yet. Looks like he's just got Zerglings. 77 Zerglings and 8 Banelings. That is a unit composition, folks. That is a very unique and broad unit composition, as Slivko goes up to his 4th base here, and Thorzane just now takes his 3rd. So Slivko is definitely ahead. You can even look at the supply. It's 133 to 85. Slivko is doing an exceptional job of making sure that he stays on top of his macro, denying bases from Thorzane, keeping him on his toes. I mean, even with the barracks wall, he sat here, he was patient, he made sure that this Overlord stayed just out of range of any barracks lifting off, but it was still in range to see when they did lift off, and he ran right in with the counterattack, prevented the push from coming out until he was ready, got his Baneling Nest up, and he even got Baneling speed during that time frame. So he is doing phenomenal right now is Slivko. He did get the Roach Warren. I'm not sure what the Roach Warren is for. That might have been a misclick for the Evo Chamber. Or no, he built these Evo Chambers earlier. I'm not sure what this is for. I guess it was because he didn't have a full scout yet, so he wanted to make sure he was ready for any type of mech play that came out. Looks like there was a pause in there somewhere. We do have a medevac that actually just flew over all these Zerglings, so I would assume that Slivko is, yeah, he's ready for that. He's got a Spore Crawler and 2 Spines going down by the Baneling Nest. That's not going to do anything, but we do have another medevac heading to the top left. Looks like if it does scout out this base right here, it would actually drop down. He sees the creep, so Thorzane is going to try to hit that one, but then we have Thorzane over here getting his medevac picked off. Is it going to die? Oh, full medevac gets picked off completely for nothing. No kills for any of those Marines. And the Queen is going to start picking it up. Ooh, nice trick there. So he drops him down into the low ground so that the Queens and the Zerglings have a tougher time killing him. The Infestor did do his job, though. He did make sure that they fungled after all the Marines did drop down. Oops, excuse me. I hit some button. Let's try to figure out what I hit there. All right, and go back to there. We are okay. Excuse me. I lost my train of thought when I clicked that. Oh, right. You'll see a lot of players. They'll actually fungal as the Marines are falling down rather than waiting for all the Marines to land first. And when you do that, you actually get more out of your fungal because you're not going to have to do it once for a Marine. Just wait till all 6 are down or all 8 are down, and you're good. We do have Infestors on the field now. Looks like we've got 5 Infestors, 13 Banelings, and 79 Zerglings. So he hasn't been building too many more Zerglings. Morphing most of them into Banelings, but he has scouted out that this is, in fact, going down as a base. So he's Slivko is going to come over here and try to harass it a little bit. You can see him moving into position. He does have his Infestors still at home, and he has the Broodlords already on the way. So that Greater Spire is here and done. The +2 ground armor is done now. So there we go. Those Zerglings are going to be that much more efficient. And with that Hive Tech that he has, he can start getting that Adrenal Glands upgrade, which gives you 20% more attack speed for your Zerglings. It doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it, I mean, you do 10 attacks a minute, now you're going to do 12 attacks a minute. So it's pretty good. Let's see. Alright, so got the Banelings getting picked off by a couple tanks, so nothing crazy. Just a small little force over here trying to do some damage, trying to sneak in the back. We do have Slivko taking this base, though. This is actually Thorzane's what's supposed to be his, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th base-ish. I mean, you can take either one of these, 5th or 6th. It's not too important which one goes first. But with 4 medevacs here, yeah, 1 Zergling's not going to kill that Marine. Slivko is just going up to an amazing amount of bases. He's got 1, okay, we're going to count the bases, including the macro hatches. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7 mining bases once these pop up and he gets some drones there, and 8 hatcheries total. So he can actually just pretty much endlessly pump units. He's got another Spire coming up for upgrades. He's got 2 Spine Crawlers sitting right around that Greater Spire just in case of any drops. They're not going to die instantly, or at least the Marines have to work a little harder so that they can kill that. We do have him moving out right now with a good amount of Corruptors, actually. They are unupgraded, though, so that is a little bit scary because those Marines on the ground, let's see what their upgrades are. I know that they're actually doing pretty well here. I can't even find one Marine. Let's see. Give me a Marine. There we go. So they're 2-3. They will be 3-3 here pretty quick, but this Infestor Broodlord Corruptor army, there's not too many Infestors, but this is still pretty scary. If you don't have that many Vikings, which it looks like Thorzane's got a good amount of Vikings. Let's see, so far he's got 12 Vikings over here. He is actually picking off this hatchery. This Corruptor is going to destroy that medevac, and the Fungals come down, the Broodlords pick off the rest of the Marines, and that's all she wrote there. Looks like there is a base deny up here for Thorzane, though. Slivko is just sitting here saying, nope, that's not going to happen, man. I told you, you're not going to get this base. Oh, and all the Banelings get picked off before Slivko can react, so actually Thorzane is going to get that base. We have 1 base not mining. Let's see. Yeah, he's only got 2 bases that actually don't have any mining going on them. So yeah, I mean, he's actually being very efficient with his macro right now, getting his air upgrades as well. This is going to go down, which is okay. Thorzane, I don't believe he knows that there's a base here, but I don't think he's aware that. Oh, with the scan, I was going to say I don't think he's aware that there's units sitting at it, but now he knows, so he can't just push in there with a couple Marines and pick it down like he just did with the 4th base of Slivko. Excuse me, 5th base. But yeah, it looks like there's a couple drones getting over there now, so they are going to start mining, throw up a bunch of Spore Crawlers. Yeah, when the base is right here, I mean, you want to make sure the drops don't just walk right over the top and kill you. So I mean, at this point, oops, I turned off production tab. I apologize. At this point, I mean, we have 2 more Infestors coming out, getting some upgrades. Got the Air Carapace 2. ground armor 3, ground melee 3. He's just macroing at this point. Nothing, no big engagements, but it looks like Thorzane's done waiting. He wants to push in with a huge force of Marines, but he needs to watch it. These Banelings are coming right in, and they're going to get him. Oh, he does an amazing pickup. He gets, what is that, 8, 16, 24 Marines off the ground. So only a few Marines that were in that fight actually fall. He does drop them back down. I don't know if that was the best decision. Okay, it looks like Slivko is going to back off, rather, so it's not going to be too critical that Thorzane dropped those down. He just wants to get the heal, make sure that the stim wasn't too inefficient. He can get the medevacs, heal them up, and they can live to stim again another day. Alright, so Thorzane knows exactly what composition he's going against. That +1 attack is going to be vital against these Marines on the ground. When you actually hit a Marine... Oh, wait. Pause. And... Okay, so he just Baneling busted, Slivko just Baneling busted an entire planetary fortress down. That definitely puts Thorzane behind, but when you keep in mind he's actually got 5 command centers building right now, I don't think he's too concerned with how much money he's spending. He's got 17 Vikings, and he is definitely prepared for this. The only thing I would like to see is a Ghost Academy. If Thorzane can get a Ghost Academy, he can nullify all of these Infestors, which are going to be the unit that's going to do all the damage to him. You think about it, the Corruptors are great, they're going to do a lot of damage to Vikings, but the Infestors are the ones that kill all the Marines. If the Vikings have to clump, if the Vikings clump, then they get fuggled, and that's even worse. So if you nullify the Infestors, the Vikings, you don't even have to micro them. You can just run them at the Corruptors, and if you have enough of them, you're going to win. But it looks like this engagement, he's just done waiting. We do have another big attack coming down up here for Thorzane. He's just pushing into the main base. Looks like we're going for, I guess it's a base trade, but it's not very efficient for Thorzane. I mean, oh, and there's all the ghosts, and the Ghost EMP everything. I must have missed the Ghost Academy, but everything goes down. All the Infestors have no fungals. This guy can't even fungal. He's dead. They fungled one time on the Vikings, but everything's going down. There's so many Vikings. There's 19 of them. And all the Corruptors go down. The Broodlords are down. There's Ravens on the field. Just every type of unit that is just counter Broodlord Infestor is on the field. And all these Marines in the main are just tearing them up. The Banelings are coming in, but they gave it in a straight line, so they didn't do any damage. They killed maybe 2 Marines. And the Infestors are sitting here by themselves saying, what am I going to do? I'm going to burrow, but there's a Raven. And then the scan goes down, the Manor scan that has no purpose with a Raven sitting in the immediate area. And the Lings are streaming out of the base, but it doesn't matter because there's 3 medevacs there. And there's the GG from Slivko. An amazing play by Thorzane with the Ghosts to just completely destroy all the Infestors, take all their energy. They're completely useless. There was one that got a fungal off before that happened, or rather just after. And that was an amazing game. I'm so glad that's the replay they sent. That was just so much fun to cast and so much fun to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please, please like the video. I really want to get into the top 8. I feel like I could be a great addition to IPL, so please, if you like my video, if you like my cast, even if you just like my voice, please hit the like button, and I do appreciate it. Thanks, guys.